Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of Organizing Untold. I am your host, Sierra Hamilton, and we'll go ahead and jump right in. So today's episode will be me talking. And so I just want to kind of introduce what this episode will be about. So at the end of every month, we'll have an episode that is a bonus episode, if you want to say. So we'll be sharing additional organizing tips from our guests that we didn't get a chance to touch on in those episodes originally where we're talking with them. And then we'll also be sharing additional talking about additional organizing topics as well. We'll also maybe even bring on a guest or two who feels that they aren't organized, and you'll get a chance to talk about your journey, where you are in your journey, ask any questions with us here at Nicely Placed Organizing. So again, for anyone who's joining in, this is Organizing Untold, episode 7. And today's episode, along with me mentioning that this is more of a bonus episode, I'll also just be telling you a little bit more about my journey, my organizing journey. I am getting ready to put up a post this week just to reintroduce myself on social media to my audience. I've noticed that I have a few new followers, so welcome to those who are new to Nicely Placed Organizing's social media pages. And so today you'll get some additional information about me, about my organizing journey, and how I got here where I am. So let's go ahead and dive in. So we'll start off by talking about who I am and what I do. So of course you already know what I do. Who I am is I can say that I am a lover of many things. Lover of running, of playing tennis, cooking. I am also a child of God, and I am a middle child of 3. So I have a older brother and a younger sister. And so, yeah, that's kind of a little bit about who I am. What I do, I am a personal organizer. I organize with Nicely Placed Organizing for first-time homebuyers, also full-time artists who have art studios and workspaces, and I also organize for those who are overwhelmed by the organizing process, so you can think of a borderline hoarder in that case. In terms of organizing in general, how I got to where I am now, I would definitely say that organizing has been a huge step for me in terms of remaining structured in life and being able to accomplish many goals and dreams that I set out for myself. And I've always loved organizing since I was little. I always used to have my side of the room organized. I used to share a room with my sister. My side of the room was always organized for the most part. And I would every so often go and organize just different things on my side of the room as well. And so it's always been something that I've loved doing. And I recently, over the span of the pandemic, came back to kind of circling it back around and creating a business out of it so that I can be able to share it with others, share this gift that I have with others to help them be able to live better lives as well. And so, yeah, it definitely is something that's super important to me and important to my life. And I wouldn't be here as an organizer if I wasn't organized myself, because in my opinion, if I'm an organizer, I can't not be organized. And so, yeah, to me, I would say organizing, it means so much about just how I operate as an individual, how I achieve my goals, how I'm able to live my life and be able to move each day. Something that really helps me be able to stay organized is my planner. I also like to write down different tasks in the reminder section of my phone. So my planner is something for the people who like to write things out in order for it to stick in your head. That is also me. So every time that I tend to write something out, it usually sticks quicker than if I'm typing it or if I'm saving it on my phone or having to screenshot something on my phone. 9 times out of 10, my screenshots that I do, sometimes I go back to them, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not going back to the screenshot. I know that there are some in my phone now that I actually need to go and probably delete out. So for those who like to write things down, that is actually a thing where when you write things down, sometimes it helps you to be able to remember it more. And so that is something that I love to do. That's why I have my planner where I write things out. But I also am just a little bit more on the digital side, getting into having my phone on me more often than I may have had it on me what I may have had it on me before. And so I use my reminder section to write out today's goals, today's tasks, the goals and tasks for the week, for the month, overarching goals that I have. My reminder section is something that I live by as well. So those are some ways that I stay organized. In terms of when I realized that organizing was something that I really needed to incorporate into my life, I would say it really hit me when I went to undergrad. So I used to be a person who my time management skills were not the best. And so in undergrad, my first year of undergrad, that was almost like a weakness for me. And it really took me taking some time to figure out what strategies would work for me to be able to get more organized and be able to create more structure in my life. Like I said, to be able to accomplish different goals that I set for myself. So the first year of undergrad, what I did was the school that I attended, I went to Clemson in Clemson, South Carolina. I went to Clemson University, and so first year of undergrad, there was this sheet of paper that I could use to write out my schedule hour by hour for each day. So Sunday through Saturday, I could write out my schedule hour by hour on what I would be doing for each day. And so like that really helped me to be able to see for the day what I would be doing, when I would be in class, when I would be studying, when I would be in meetings or just doing something with family or friends. And it really held me accountable to be able to say, okay, I have this written down and this is what I'm going to do at this time, and really stick to that and get it done. And of course it didn't happen overnight. It definitely took some time just continuing to carry out that habit. And even after I graduated from Clemson, that was still something that helped me be able to stay structured and be able to get better with my time management skills. I can say that I still sometimes struggle with my time management skills, but it has definitely improved from where it was when I was in undergrad. And I am super glad that that was a resource that I was able to use to help me be able to get to a better spot now. In terms of an organizing tip that I would say is something that I would like to share with the audience as a helpful organizing tip for you all. I know that for me, I like to write things out, as I mentioned earlier, and so I love to buy a planner. But I know not everyone loves planners, or sometimes all of us go and we buy a planner and we don't even use it. I know I do that sometimes too. I'll buy a planner and I look back around and it's like a month or two later and I have nothing written down. Maybe not okay, that was a stretch. Maybe not a month or two later, but it definitely after maybe a week or so, sometimes I slip and I don't write anything for that week. So sometimes a planner is not necessarily the right thing to go by. But an organizing tip that I would kind of just share with the audience is really get to know yourself. And what I mean by that is figure out what your strengths are. That'll definitely help you figure out how you need to get organized. And when you know your strengths, you know what you're best at, and that can help you be able to steer you in the right direction in terms of what organizing looks like for you and for your life. And that is why we offer the organizing assessment as well that we have here with Nicely Placed Organizing. That organizing assessment is something that can help you figure out what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And that is a reason that it is able to help you decide what phase of the organizing process you're in and give you an action step for how to operate in that phase / move to the next phase as well. So yeah, this is a little bit about me. This has been a short episode because one, I was talking fast, but also because, yeah, I think it's because I was talking fast. No, but just to kind of do a quick recap and a summary, again, this is episode 7 of Organizing Untold. And so the podcast itself is to help busy business owners and those who are working 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. who help them feel more confident with organizing. And we do that by bringing on guests who feel that they are organized, who are busy business owners, and those who work between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. And that is to create relatable content and be able to help you see that these are everyday people just like you. And where they are on their organizing journey, there's a possibility that they may have been in the same spot that you're in currently. And so we want to help you be able to get to the spot where they are and to be able to show up, not even just the spot where they are, not in a comparison sense, but more of get to a better spot where you're more confident with your organizing journey and you're fulfilling your life's goals, where you're reaching those goals that you set for yourself and you're taking the time to really get to know who you are so that you can show up as your best self. We want you to be able to get to the place where you can enjoy life and not stress your way through it. And so that is a little bit of what Nicely Placed Organizing is about and the Organizing Untold podcast is about. And so again, as I stated at the beginning of this video, this is a bonus episode. At the end of each month, we'll be doing bonus episodes to help you be able to learn about different organizing topics and also be able to get more organizing tips that maybe a guest that we've talked to previously didn't have time to share during their podcast episode with us. We also may be bringing on 1 or 2 people who may feel that they're not organized to be able to talk about where you are in your journey and also ask questions to be able to get help to move forward as well. So again, I'm Sierra Hamilton, your host, and Organizing Untold is an extension of Nicely Placed Organizing, where we organize for first-time home buyers, full-time artists who have art studios and workspaces, and those who are overwhelmed by the organizing process. As I mentioned earlier, that organizing assessment, the phases of the organizing assessment is present to help you figure out and clear yourself of the mental and physical blocks that are preventing you from being able to show up in your organizing journey and get things done, and organized the way that you need to and the way that you'd like for it to be. So thank you for joining. Thank you for sitting through to hear my story about my organizing journey. We are excited to have you here, and we hope you continue to tune in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. here on Facebook Live for Organizing Untold episodes. And if you're someone who you feel you're successful with organizing, who feels confident in their organizing journey, and you'd like to be a guest on this podcast, reach out to us. We'd like to have you on as a guest so that those in our audience can be able to learn from you and be able to kind of resonate with your organizing journey and see what they can take from it, what takeaways they can get from you as well. So thanks for joining us, and we hope you have a good evening. We'll talk to you soon.